How do you know if you have good debt or bad debt? You might be thinking, can any debt be good? Isn't it bad to owe money, period? Well, not necessarily. The thing is that not all debt is created equal, and some debt can actually be kind of good. I do realize though, if you're one of the millions of Americans paying off debt, it might feel like what you owe is nothing but stress and a drain on your budget. And trust me, I'm paying off my own student loan, so I'm right there with you. But to help you understand your debt, and hopefully alleviate some of the stress that you're feeling around it, in this video, I'm going to talk through different kinds of debt, and then break down what makes a good debt versus a bad debt. Let's first address the different types of debt, and there are so many different kinds. There are medical bills, auto loans, credit card debt, student loans, even personal loans specifically to fund hot tubs. And the reason we take out debt can vary from one person to the next, but in general, debt is taken out of necessity or to provide opportunity. And often it's a little bit of both. Let's talk about good debt. In general, good debt is affordable and can help you move forward in life. And in practice, that means that it has a low interest rate and can help you build your income or net worth. And I'll give you a few examples of that. Student loans are a classic one. Yes, it's often tens of thousands of dollars in debt, but they tend to have lower interest rates and can help you get that high earning job that will make paying off any future debt more affordable in your budget. Auto loans are another example of that because, again, tens of thousands of dollars, not very fun to pay off, but the APRs tend to be lower and people often need that loan to get the car that will take them to their job where they can earn that money. And mortgages are maybe the biggest example of good debt. Yeah, it's scary to owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for a house. But for most people in the middle class, home ownership is the one path to wealth building, and you can build that magical thing called equity that can provide a lot of financial security in the long run. Now, let's talk about bad debt. The inverse of good debt, bad debt is expensive and can drag down your financial situation. In practice, this tends to mean that it has a high or variable interest rate, and this is especially true if it's used to purchase something that loses value quickly, like the latest smartphone. Bad debt can also be good debt gone awry, and let me give you a couple examples of that. Credit card debt might seem like it's always bad, but that's not necessarily the case. If you have a 0% APR card and you pay it off in that period of zero interest, that can actually be a fine kind of debt. But if you have high interest credit card debt, that can be really expensive and hard to dig out of. Similarly, a car loan can also be a bad kind of debt if it's too expensive. That's why we recommend that you keep your car costs within 10% of your take-home pay so that you can pay off your debt in a manageable way. Another example of bad debt is a personal loan used for a discretionary expense like a hot tub. This might be something that you should probably save up for so that way you're not paying so much in interest on something that you maybe don't need. Another example of bad debt is a payday loan, because these can have interest rates of upward of 300%, and they can often lead to spirals of debt. That said, we know a lot of people don't have many other options when they're taking out a payday loan, but we encourage people to explore all of them. No matter what kind of debt you have, good, bad, or somewhere in between, try to find a way to pay it off. That might mean just making regular monthly payments on your student loans, like I'm doing, or if you have high interest credit card debt, you might want to look into a few different debt payoff methods, like debt snowball or debt avalanche, and we have a great video on that as well. If your debt feels a little bit out of your control, you might want to tap the help of a nonprofit credit counselor to get some budgeting advice and maybe get on a debt management plan. I hope this has helped you feel a little bit less stressed about what you owe. So now go out there, find a way to pay off your debt, and if you need some encouragement, turn to NerdWallet. We have tons of tools and tips for you. But if you want some encouragement from other people paying off debt, there are tons of forums out there. I personally love the Reddit Personal Finance channel to talk with other people who are paying off their debt. You'll be amazed about what people have done. I'm Sean Pyles, and you are watching Awkward Money Questions. We are here to give you smart and comforting answers to your most uncomfortable money questions. Please leave your questions below and subscribe.